Welcome back to Chicago Independent Television. Across America, political actions of all kinds have come under assault. In this next segment, we'll follow one incident in Washington state involving a citizen, a military depot, the police, and a handheld video camera.
Officers at the Port of Tacoma don't understand the rights of photographers and journalists. Recently, a group of 6 officers detained an activist while he was covering the Stryker Brigade protests at the port. The Port of Tacoma has been used for shipments of Stryker vehicles, projectile weapons, and other heavy military equipment bound for Iraq. At the time of this incident, the area had already been videotaped by several other news organizations, including aerial shots. Apparently, it depends on whose camera the footage goes into, yet it does not matter whose television it ends up on. There's an odd inconsistency here. Members of the corporate media were standing near or in the same location earlier in the day, but since this activist wasn't a member of the professional media class, the police decided they were going to arrest him, and then they detained him for an hour in the back of a squad car. They did not read the Miranda rights, nor did they show respect for those rights. Here's what happened.
You said that I can stand over there, right?
On the other side of the barricades.
Okay. Why do you want to stand there?
Because I'm filming this for an independent news organization.
Okay, no, you're not. You're going to do it. If you're going to do that and you're going to tell us that, you know where you're going to sit? On the other side of that light down there. How about that?
On the other side of that.
Did you hear what he said?
It'll be now.
Now.
So I can't.
Do you know how to do that, sir, or not? Or I will do it for you.
I do.
Would you like me to do it for you?
Wait, can you guys hold on a second? Can we just talk about this? Can you not touch the camera?
You're going to be arrested.
If we can arrest you, why would I be arrested?
Shut it off or you're going to be arrested. Yeah. So make up your mind.
Shut your camera.
Can I go? I'm filming this.
Okay, you're done, dude.
This is how I turn it off.
How?
Like this.
Right here? Where? Tell me where we turn
That's
it
how I
off.
turn it off.
Where? Power? You don't seem to understand there, pal.
There's a power switch.
You better show me before it gets broken.
I'm right there. You twist it.
This?
Welcome back. What are the consequences of videotaping in a politically charged situation? In this next segment, we'll learn about video recording and civil liberties.
That video is a fairly typical example of how law enforcement officers respond to being recorded on film. They generally don't like it, and if anything, they are getting more sensitive to it now. And to a certain extent, they have more to hide than we do. And they've always had an advantage where it counts, which is in court, all right, because it's a basic fact of life that most judges and most juries will take the word of a police officer over the word of a citizen. They know that, and they govern their behavior accordingly. And they bend a lot of rules, specifically constitutional rules. But a videotape doesn't lie, okay? And We've had some fairly outrageous examples recently of police officers getting caught on tape doing the kinds of things that police officers typically do. And whereas normally they'd be able to cover it up by saying that's not the way it happened and having everyone believe them, now when they get caught on tape, they lose their credibility advantage in the courtroom. So there's great power in video, and police officers recognize it, and they don't like to be videotaped while they're doing their work. Any more than anybody else, actually less than anybody else, because they're used to bending the rules and getting away with it. You have a constitutional right, a First Amendment right, to videotape something that occurs in public. The mere act of videotaping something that's occurring in public is perfectly legal. If you're independent media, if you are not official media, you will be treated differently than the official media. The official media does get privileges, does get breaks, they get special access. The police officers have a lot of discretion, all right? Police officers don't arrest everybody they see breaking the law, and that's a good thing, and that's something we want to encourage, all right? Police officers have a lot of discretion to decide not to make an arrest in a situation where they could, and they do it all the time. I tell activists, all right, don't recklessly blow the police officer's discretion. If your commitment to your constitutional rights is so strict and inflexible that you refuse to make any effort to manipulate the police officer's discretion, it's a common thing. You know, the police arrive on the scene, you ignore them and pretend like they're not there. That makes them escalate to verbal direction. Stop that, go there, do this, all right? And if you don't comply with that verbal direction, they're going to escalate to physical control, to empty hand control. The more you resist, the more they escalate. I can't really tell activists that they have to diffuse the situation with the police officer, especially when they're not violating any laws and they have a right to insist on their constitutional rights, all right? They do have that right, and I respect people who do that, all right? But you should know what you're doing, and you should know what the likely consequences of it are, and you should make a decision, preferably in advance, when you do something that is likely to lead to an encounter with law enforcement. You should make a decision, not in the heat of the moment, okay? You should make a decision in advance. Am I willing to get arrested for this? Sometimes people go there in order to get arrested, and that, hey, I have great respect for people who do that, and I don't want to dissuade anybody from doing that. And you know, and the headlines become about the arrest and not necessarily about your issue. But you know, that can work the other way too. You know, sometimes by getting arrested, then you get the headline. Right. So I do have great respect for people who are willing to get arrested for a cause. But before you go, decide whether or not you're one of those people. Right. Don't let the police officer make that decision for you. Right. Okay? And police officers will take cameras, they will force you to turn them off, they will take your film, they will destroy it, they will destroy your camera. All of those things have been done. I mean, if they confiscate your property, it's best to let a lawyer handle it. Don't you deal with it. In the activist community, I would suggest that if that happens to a videographer, that they call the National Lawyers Guild, and one of us will evaluate it.
I'm Andy Thayer, and you're watching Chicago Independent Television.
I see the soul of a nation, must be true 'cause I've seen it on